Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are doing something new today. I have Senor Kyle with me. Say hi, Kyle.
Hola.
Oh, he really went the Senor route. Okay, anyways, we're we're gonna be talking about and giving a review of Stranger Things 2. Season 2 of Stranger Things,
I'm excited.
A show that we both love and both binge watched the first weekend it's been out. I think it's still only been out one weekend, at this point at least of the recording. So
Yeah.
Preemptive warning: it is a review, so there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you have, stick around and listen.
Absolutely, but seriously, watch it though, because it's phenomenal. I mean,
good.
It's so good, so good.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'll let you take the lead on this.
Oh, so thoughtful. We'll start out with a real easy one. Got a few notes here. Better or worse than season 1?
That would be kind of a toss-up. It just depends on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say better, but then again, I'm still riding on the heels of the hype.
Yeah.
I love the character development, though. I love the direction they took it. So in that aspect, to me, it's better.
There definitely was more character development in this one.
That also goes along with the fact, though, that in this season, you already know the characters, so you're kind of waiting to see how they develop them, and it's a fucking spot-on job. They did great. They did absolutely fucking great.
That is actually something I was looking forward to with this season, was the further development for them, because season 1, it's all very Adventure Tale-esque, and you do get background on each of the kids and somewhat their families, but then in this season I was hoping we would see a lot more of the family life, which you see each kid individually at their house, which I didn't expect all that, but it was great.
No, I didn't either. I didn't expect that either. The biggest thing I was looking to was just what happened to Elle. You know, at the end of the last season, they had that little scene with Hopper
Eggos.
putting the Eggos in the basket and shit, and you're just like, oh, come on, she's got to be okay. And then they did the big reveal, and it was just like, like,
I like how they did that too, like giving you bits at a time, because it was like it happened right after I was sitting there questioning it. I was like, where is the stuff about how Elle survived and came to be with Hop? That was what they left off with. That's what I want to know about right now. And I swear it was like immediately after I had that thought, they started showing it. I want to say episode 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 2. I think it was 2 where they finally did that. I kind of like how they did the monster reveal before they shown that Elle was still alive, because my first thought when I saw the monster was like, you know, everybody's fucked if she's dead. Like, there's
you
no
got
way.
No chance now. She was the one hope. But
and that's what's so good about it, is they make her she's such a badass character and such a like innocent little girl. It's so good.
And it should go without saying, I mean, everyone that's seen Stranger Things should know and probably agree, all of the kids are fantastic actors. They are
absolutely.
Phenomenal. And like this one was the first time you really got to see the kid that plays Will act, and he did unbelievably well. Going back and forth
he was
between like the being under control and then being back to a normal kid. He did great.
Like, to total exorcism mode, like that one scene in the movie. Because he was totally absent in the first season, really, beside the the initial him going to the Upside Down or the Nether or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like in the first and last episodes.
And I noticed something. 2 seasons have gone now, and 2 of the biggest characters. I mean, Will, I don't think I would put as technically a main character, being how he had almost nothing in the first season, and second season certainly a main character, but in the show as a whole, he's a little further down the ranks from the other kids to me. But
I mean, yeah, because you don't know him as well.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's understandable.
And it's him and 11 are arguably the 2 biggest pieces of the story, because it starts with his disappearance, and then 11 is easily the focal point. They still have yet to talk to each other. In 2 seasons, they haven't said one word to each other.
That's right. I didn't even think about that. They didn't say a word to each other the entire time.
Yeah, and I may be wrong, but the episode where she returns, episode 8, and like comes back and protects everyone, I honestly think that's the first time she was in the same room with him.
Yeah, and that was the one little off-putting thing about it, was that she came in and was like, "Can I see him?" And she acted like she knew him, but...
Well, she does know of him, because in season 1, she pointed him out. That's how Mike figured out she knew about him. She, like, saw the picture of them, and she, like, pointed at him and looked, like, distressed, and he was like, "Oh, you know Will? You know what happened? Did you see him on the, like, bike path or Mirkwood?" I think is what they called it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense how 11 would have the connection with him, because she does all the mental stuff, like going in with her powers and shit. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would have any real emotional bond with Elle, though.
I think he might, in the fact that I'm sure he knows she's saved him.
Like his savior.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they've had to tell him.
Yeah.
What happened.
Mike would have made that abundantly clear, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Going back to the topic real quick, I think this season was better than season 1, minus episode 7, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we have to discuss that episode.
Right, yeah. But it also, this season was one episode longer. Season 1 had 8. This one has 9. So if you take that one away and it's 8 versus 8, I give it to season 2. I think it had a slow build, but it paid off immensely at the end. The final 2 episodes were almost nonstop awesome. Whereas season 1 was kind of awesome at the start and slowed down a bit, even though it stayed really good. It slowed down toward the end, whereas this one was like season 4 of Breaking Bad for me, where it was like a chess match between Gus and Walter White, and then it ended up with Gus getting his face blown off, but it was like a long drawn out build up. That's what I felt for this season.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was just everything leading to greatness, in my opinion. I don't. We'll discuss episode 7 later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Just that one keeps popping into my head every time I say stuff like that. But it was good. It was great from start to finish. The way they continued off of season 1, the way they developed the characters all the way to the end.
Yes.
I mean, it just quality, man. It's just quality entertainment.
It was really good. I really like the Duffer Brothers. I love how much they love the 80s, and it really comes through. Like, damn near everything in the show is a reference or an almost identical scene to some movie from the 80s. It's a what's called a pastiche, which is basically a parody, except you're copying or like redoing something in like a loving way, like showing how much you appreciate that thing instead of like making fun of it.
I learned a new word today.
Yeah, pastiche. But I mean, like when they found 11 in season 1, it was almost a shot for shot identical scene of when the kids found E.T. It was
That's very true.
Damn near the exact thing. If you watch them side by side, it's very obvious what they drew from. And there was like Alien involved, and season 2 was real heavy on Goonies and Aliens, the sequel.
One thing I want to point out is the attention to detail. Like, there's just so many. I mean, there's little and big callbacks to the first season within the show. The little things being like, the little things being like when they were digging through the trash at one point, they found like the Christmas lights and stuff from the first the first season, and then there's the bigger callback, which is obviously Dart, because he kind of was coughed up in the very last episode of the first season.
Yeah,
but
and I mean,
just if you noticed in almost. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, rightfully, Dart became a focal point of the story, which you would expect with that being the cliffhanger.
Yeah, and Dart made me feel emotions that I didn't want to feel, man, because like he was kind of a cute little like weird thing at the start, and you're just like, oh, he likes Three Musketeers bars and stuff, and then he turned into an asshole and ate a cat, and
but then he redeems himself.
He does, and then that's what killed me, though. He redeemed himself right at the end, and then it showed him dead by the Three Musketeers wrapper, and I was just like, oh, Dart, why?
But we did get that hilarious scene of Dustin just slap-shotting him into the cellar, which I literally had to pause the show because I was laughing my ass off at that. And then he's just like holding the cellar doors down, and he's just like, I'm so sorry. And he takes a breath and he's like, you ate my cat. It's so good. It's so funny.
Can we talk about how fucking funny he was in this season? Like, dude was just great.
But I wanna go back to the attention to detail, because they do have a keen eye for that type of stuff. But there was one thing that I noticed never showed up in season 1 or in season 2 that I expected to show up. Like I've been rewatching season 1, and I caught something like when they first found 11, and they're talking about like their parents finding out, and Mike's mom calling their moms and telling them they were out looking for Will when they were supposed to be home, and Dustin was like, "Oh my God, what if she calls my parents?" Plural.
Yeah.
But we only saw his mom in the show in season 2, and there's no indication of his dad being around at all.
That's very true.
So that after going back and seeing that threw me off a bit, especially because they paid such close attention to smaller details that matter less than that, like having Christmas lights in the trash can.
Yeah. It could be implied that something happened between season 1 and season 2, because now she's like a crazy cat lady.
Yeah, but they don't do anything to imply it. That's the thing.
That's
so
true.
The show's great. I'm not gonna say it's not. There is issues, but I mean that's every show. You're gonna get issues with everything.
Small. Yeah, you can't pump out a great show like that and it be absolutely perfect. There's gonna be a flaw somewhere.
I mean, How I Met Your Mother was incredible at keeping little details like that in check, and they messed up quite a few times. So it's just, it happens.
I couldn't say that if I tried to direct that everything would be perfect, because what a mess that would be.
Yeah, and it's such a small thing. Like, I completely forgot about it. I didn't find that just watching season 2. I saw it after rewatching season 1, and it's just such a small throwaway line, and you never see their families aside from Mike's and Will's in season 1. So it's like that part doesn't matter in the season 1 story, and then when you see it's only the mom in season 2, you just forget altogether that he says parents, because it's such a throwaway moment.
That was actually such a small thing that I didn't remember that when I was watching season 2.
Yeah.
Didn't think twice about it. I was just like, his mom's a crazy cat lady, you know?
Yeah, the first time through, I was just like, okay, he's got a single mom. That's how I felt.
And I did point it out to my wife, though. I told her, I said, this is the first time we've actually gotten to see other families. Like,
yes.
The first season did not have that. That was one thing that I did remember.
Yeah, you get everyone's family now, pretty much. I mean, shit, you even get Mad Max and Billy's family.
Yeah, Mad Max. How did you feel about Mad Max as a character?
Well, that was another topic I was wanting to go into, was all the new characters in general. I like Max. I really like Max. And I love to hate Billy.
Me too. Billy, there was like the kind of the big reveal towards the end of why he is the way he is. And
yes.
I'm like, when I seen that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because the whole season leading up to that, I was like, I have a feeling there's like an abusive parent scenario going on here.
But they're real tricky with the way he talks to Max, that it kind of leads you to believe there may be something else. Like when he yells at her saying, you're not my sister, or don't call her my sister, to the one girl.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. Even seeing the moment, though, where it showed that abuse and stuff, and it's like I wanted to redeem him a little bit from that, but just the way he acts is just like unacceptable.
Yeah,
even with that fact. So he's just still a straight up dick in my eyes. Like he's an asshole. He
absolutely is, and he's supposed to be. Like I had watched all of the Beyond the Stranger Things, I think it's called, or it might be Behind. I always want to say Beyond, but they talked about that with him. He was on an episode of it. And they mention his abusive past, and the Duffer Brothers, creators of the show, they said it in no means excuses him. Like, it's not meant to excuse him. He's still, like, basically a piece of shit to Max and to a lot of other people, seemingly for no reason. It's just
kind of a moment to show you of, like, this is why he is the way he is, I guess.
It's just to detail how he became that person, and to kind of show it's really a humanizing thing. It's like, it's hard to make a bad guy really bad without having a sympathetic side, in my eyes.
It's very true.
Because when they have a sympathetic side, there's something you can relate to and kind of give them benefit of the doubt, but then it also makes it that much worse when they're just a dick, because like, dude, come on, you could be better than that. You don't have to take that route, but then they take it, and that's what makes them shitty. But they needed a human antagonist. It couldn't just always be monsters. So I'm glad they had Billy, and apparently that's what Steve was supposed to be, but then he just was too good of a character, or too good of a person, the actor. So they changed and made Steve, like, arguably one of the best characters in the show. And then
true.
Billy took over as the dickhead, and they had him stick with it.
On a side note, or little bitty side note, Billy, fucking beautiful eyelashes.
He's a really good looking dude. He's a really good looking dude. And I found out in Beyond the Stranger Things that he was the Red Power Ranger in the new movie. and he's Australian.
Which I did not know.
But in Stranger Things, he's basically Zac Efron with a mullet. Like he looks exactly like him.
What a sweet mullet, though.
It is. Apparently fake. It is a wig, whereas Steve's hair is 100% real. So hair news.
His hair bothers me. I'm just gonna throw that out there. His hair is just kind of too up there. I do love the moment.
Farrah Fawcett spray.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I loved the moment where they talked about that. It was so good.
See,
and then at the very last episode, they had another callback to that.
With Dustin having like the exact hairstyle.
Yeah, he comes in holding like a paper bag, and then it shows him pull that out of it.
Yeah.
It was so good.
That actually leads to another topic of the new pairings. There was a lot of Lucas and Dustin separated off doing something. Usually Max was involved, but there were times where it was just the two of them. Hop and Eleven got like a father-daughter thing going on now.
Yeah, such a good duo.
All the pairings have been amazing, but Steve and Dustin might be my favorite. It's hard between those two and Hop and Eleven, but Steve and Dustin is just, it's so funny, the two of them together, and it's also really sweet.
Well, see, Steve and Dustin are more of the comedy duo of the show, and then Elle and Hopper are your heartfelt like father and daughter type situation.
Yeah,
you know,
that one's
they're
pure
where the
emotion.
feels are at. You know,
yeah.
And it's so Hopper is probably my favorite character in the show.
He's great.
I fucking love that guy.
He's really good. But
and I love how in this season he kind of became like super dad to all the kids.
He did.
I love that.
Aside from the like psionic fight, but that was awesome when she threw the dictionary at him. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was.
But the thing with Steve and Dustin that I love is that they're funny, but at the same time, they get really heartfelt as well, and it's basically Steve becomes the big brother that he doesn't have.
Yeah, it's very true. He gives him some horrible dating advice as well.
yeah, but he does also kind of hint that there's more to it when Dustin asks about Nancy, and he's like, "Oh, Nancy's a completely different type of girl."
Yeah, that's true.
So he leads them to believe like it doesn't always work. I think it was more Dustin took his advice too literally. He went from like trying to show that he was aloof and didn't care to turning into like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want you around me. He went a little too far. And
sadly it didn't pay off in the end.
No, but he had that nice little dance with Nancy.
He did. That made my heart smile at the end.
It was really sweet.
I was like, "Oh."
It was very sweet.
And I love how she was giving him the real advice. Like that's the dating advice he needed to know. Like girls that age, they don't know what they want.
Yeah. And she's like, "Trust me, like eventually you're going to be what they're like swooning over." And that just cheered him right up, which it was so great to see. It's so nice because Dustin's such a little sweetheart. He deserves a really good girl.
Sweetheart, besides like cussing out the librarian and a few parents in the show.
But when he does that, it's always for a good cause. He was trying to figure stuff out. I mean, trying to figure out what DART is.
True.
It's a little on the fence of being a good cause, but it does end up helping.
Oh, some of the funniest moments in the entire show, though.
Yeah, that kid is pure comedy. Okay, so moving through, there was one little tidbit I saw that I wanted to point out, see if you noticed or not. They had an extra $2 million each episode, according to IMDb, than they did last year. Last year they had $6 million per episode. This year they had $8 million, which is only $2 million short of Game of Thrones, which is that's impressive.
That's a budget.
Yeah. And I wanted to see if you noticed $2 million extra dollars in cinematics.
Yeah, I would have to say I did, especially including some of the stuff they did do in episode 7, and there seemed to be more of Eleven's powers showing throughout the show. So yes. I mean, I guess I could say that I noticed.
Well, and stuff's a lot bigger, a lot more grand, and they had some camera angles and some shots that they did that were just, I was sitting there, I was like, ugh. So I'm a bit of a movie buff, I would say.
You are more so than I am.
Yeah, that is the route I wanted to go. So really amazing cinematography really shines through to me, and God, they had some beautiful shots in this season, and some stuff that they definitely could not do last season. Last season there was a lot of
absolutely
focusing in on shit, but then when big moments required big cinematics, they had it. This one, it's like even smaller stuff, they could go big with it if they wanted to, if it was appropriate.
Yeah, which in the grand scale of things, even just the Mind Flayer was obviously
huge,
more cinematic than just a Demogorgon, you know. And I guess just by looking at the monsters, you could see that they had more budget, because they had the Mind Flayer, and then they had just a shit ton of demi-dogs.
Yeah.
I think they ended it. Yeah, they called them
Demo-dogs.
Yeah, demo-dogs.
And all those vines, which you get some of the vines in the season 1, but then other than the vines, it's one Demogorgon, which was a dude in a suit for the majority. Demo-dogs were all CGI. Obviously,
they had
Mind
to be, unless
Flayer
they
was
just
CGI.
dressed up dogs.
Well, I saw a behind the scenes thing. One of them, the first one that attacks Bob, rest in peace, Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, one of the first dog that jumps him and starts ripping into him was some girl that works on the set. She was they just saw her and they're like, you know what, you're a really good size for a demo dog. Do you want to pretend to eat Bob for a bit? And she was like, yeah, sure. And then they just CGI'd over top of her.
Oh, fucking Bob.
That's another new character that I really liked, and I'm so sad they got rid of him, because he was a nice stability for Joyce and Will and Jonathan, and he's Jonathan made fun of him for how normal he is, but he was such a good guy, and he was
he was such a good-hearted guy. I expected them to take a turn with him and make him an asshole at some point, or have some ulterior motive.
I thought so too.
But when it just shone through that he was just a genuinely nice guy that was just completely unaware of what was going on, it was just I love this guy.
He was so good.
That being said, his death scene annoyed me, because I was screaming at my TV.
Just keep
as
running.
Soon as he stopped, I was just go, why? I was just no, Bob, why?
I think for him in the moment, it was kind of stopped to take in his his hero moment. He's I did it. I got the doors open. I've escaped. I see the girl that I'm with. This is incredible. I can't believe we got out of this. I'm gonna enjoy this for a second, and then he dies.
Yeah, which I hope that doesn't happen in vain. I really hope in the next season that her and Hopper end up together, because now there's that opening, and they've had their little moments and stuff, and I want it to happen.
Yeah, I'm big on the I don't know what the ship is for that, if it's Hoist or Jopper. I'm not sure which route people are going with that, but I'm big on that train. I want Hop and Joyce together. I wanted that in season 1 even more so now that they're like reminiscing on like smoking cigarettes and getting caught and shit. I really like them together.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
Fucking go ahead.
They'd make a great. I mean, they already make a great pair. I mean, in both seasons, they've been together, like, figuring shit out and solving problems.
Oh, which reminds me, something I love about this show. Typically in horror genres, which Stranger Things goes into horror genre a little bit. It's not really a scary show by any means, but it goes that direction. People are typically stupid. Joyce is brilliant. She is so smart.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love that because she's always the one at the forefront of figuring shit out. The kids are always really on top of everything, aside from Dustin with the dart thing. That was a slip up. But 9 times out of 10, everyone is on top of it. They're trying to figure stuff out, and they're doing smart things to figure it out. They're not making dumb moves and fucking shit up purposefully.
Yeah, that's one, like you said, I love the fact that they don't stick to the normal horror trope of just fucking everyone's stupid.
Yeah. Everyone's so smart.
Which, in a way, I kind of felt like Bob's death was kind of one of those moments.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was bad, but that's what it reminded me of. I was like, that was a typical horror movie death where if he'd have just kept running, he'd have been fine.
Well, but I think it's a lot of like it hurts more when someone that good dies because they're like the one pure good person, really. And like to see them go, arguably, well, not even really arguably, it's just in a manner where they just shouldn't die. They should be the people that survives the entire show, and to have them get killed off, it hurts the viewer more. But again,
it's the one you want to see have a happy ending,
yes, and preferably with Joyce. But in that Beyond the Stranger Things, they said he was always going to die. And they had it set where when he's giving Will the advice, which ends up being horrible advice, to like stand up to the Mind Flayer. Originally, Will was going to kill him there, being controlled by the Mind Flayer.
Really?
Yes, they had him dying in that scene, but then they changed it. Which I like it better that they had the demo dogs get him, but
I'm kind of glad they didn't just straight up turn him into a murderer from that. Like,
it's better to keep the kids innocent. Yes, he's being mind controlled, but it's better to. I mean, Eleven's not necessarily innocent, but she's had a lot of shit happen to her. She's got a bit of a pass.
And 11's still more on the side of she's not a normal kid, because of her past, but she's also been uneducated, basically. She doesn't really know how to talk in the first season, It's just, she knows, like, Papa and stuff like that. So it's a little different than seeing just this normal, like, 8th grade kid just fucking straight up murder somebody.
Yes. And
then they would have had to have addressed it, like, at the end of the season, like, when he got rid of the Mind Flayer's influence, and they're like, where's Bob, about that.
And that would have fucked with him, and then he just definitely wouldn't have a good time in season 3 because he'd be depressed about that. And the kid needs a break. He's been the source of drama for 2 seasons, a poor kid.
I was about to say, I hope in the next season they cut him a little slack. That poor kid's been through some shit.
Give him at least one good day of middle school.
Yeah, for real. Like in the next season, he might actually have PTSD from the shit he's been through.
He might. he probably will. Like that True Sight shit might still be around. I don't remember them showing him seeing any upside down stuff at the end. I don't think he did.
No.
He still might.
I don't recall him seeing it.
He might.
I think the end was just kind of the end was more of just like Mind Flayer lives, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's still a threat. It's still out there.
Yes. Now, back to 11 barely being able to speak in season 1. I like that she speaks a lot more in this season, but it's still clear she doesn't have a full grasp of language.
Right. Like she's still learning words.
Which
like
I love.
She has
I
the word of the day.
Jump. yeah, exactly. Brat.
Brat. It's your word of the day.
I didn't want her to just jump into full conversations, like speaking properly.
Oh God, no.
So I'm glad they slowed it down. But they made it where like clearly she's been learning for a year at this point.
Yeah, she has developed.
Yeah, she's to a point you would expect her to hit. Maybe a little beyond, but she's a smart girl as well, so it's okay if she's a little beyond what I guess someone would typically get to. I mean, how often do people learn to speak at like 12 years old?
Yeah, and plus, I mean, her mind is like a fucking weapon, so
yes,
she's got to be a little sharper.
She's got a lot of
average kid.
She's got a lot of issues to deal with as well. How'd you feel about Emo Mike throughout the season?
Emo Mike, he was kind of the same. I mean, I don't know, man.
He
don't really know how to word this.
He was quite different.
Do you think so?
Yeah, he was really pissy a lot, especially when it came to Max. And he got into arguments with his friends constantly.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, in the first season, they all kind of had spats back and forth. I guess it was mostly
more
just
comedy.
Friendly. Yeah, it was mostly like friendly shit talking like we do on a daily basis.
Right. Whereas this time it was like, how the fuck could you invite this girl into our group? We don't know anything about her. We don't need another person. She can fuck off. That's basically his argument throughout the whole season.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I understand a little bit, I guess. I guess because like he's still hurting over 11. You know, all that time he was just. Like, you know, what did they say? 365 days?
350 something,
353,
I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Like, he was hurting. And I guess in a way he saw Mad Max as coming into the group to take her place or something like that. And
yeah.
It's just like that scene where
11...
Yeah, it's just like that scene where 11 sees Mad Max, though, and like knocks her off her skateboard. Yeah.
Which I love. I love the jealousy.
He had his moments, though. I mean, he was still there in the important moments to do what he needed to do.
Well,
he just was a bit more of an asshole.
Yeah. The thing I noticed was... It was like the moments where someone needed help, Mike was good old Mike. When no one needed him, he was emo as fuck. Like when...
I mean,
when Will was sitting there talking to him, and they were like... I think it was after Halloween, because they were in their Ghostbusters outfits still. And they were talking, and Will was saying, like, he feels like he's going crazy, or Mike I think started that, saying he felt like he was going crazy, and Will said he was, and he's like, hey Will, we'll go crazy together then, huh? and it was like a nice little bonding, happy moment, and that was like, I think that was honestly the first time you see Mike where he's basically season 1 Mike.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of fell into that trope of the guy in the group of friends who doesn't like it when another one of the guys gets a girlfriend. Like, that's something that holds true in like real life. I've had it happen to me growing up. You get a girlfriend and then one of your buddies gets pissed off because they're like, you're stealing my friend, you know. I feel like he was going through his little spat of that, which in a way you could look at it as, you know, these kids are slowly growing up and they're dealing with shit like that. Cause it's just a part of being a boy and growing up.
It could also be that he may be mad that people aren't as sad over 11 as he is. Especially
that's true, because no one else seemed to be
lives.
as hurt by it. Yeah. Which, I guess no one else had the bond with 11 that he does, which...
No, of course not. I mean, he was the one that took care of her for the majority of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is going back to the whole, you know, 300 and whatever days thing. He was hurt. He was just hurt, man.
500... No, 353.
352. Yeah.
I don't know why 500? I started jumping to 500. It was only a little under a year.
The numbers game, man.
But speaking of Max, it's going to be interesting in season 3 how her and 11 get along, because at the end, 11 is not okay with Max, even though...
Yeah, she's still not.
Yeah, it's I mean, I guess it's not clear to her since she literally just walked in the door, but it's clear to everyone else that her and Mike have nothing going.
Yeah.
But when she introduces herself, she just walks right by her.
Yeah, 11's like, fuck off. But the only scene where we see 11 see Mad Max before that moment is the skateboard scene.
Right.
And I think it's a bit of jealousy. Well, yeah, I guess jealousy.
It's definitely jealousy. It's 100% jealousy. Yeah. She thinks at that point, because she sees Mike a little happy, and she definitely thinks like, this girl's replacing me. Mike is mine. Fuck off.
Yeah. Mike's mine, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, they did kiss at the end of season 1.
Oh, and I'm so happy it happened.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, man. I've never cared so much about a preteen romance in my life as I did for that one. At the end, like when they were dancing, I was like, do it. Like the whole time I was just like, make it happen, because they had that little scene.
Both of you like each other, just get to it.
Yeah, they had that scene when they got reunited, you know, and they almost did, but Hopper was like, come on, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Hopper playing the dad was like, nope.
Getting hot blocked.
Hot blocked. Need to get that trending on Twitter.
But hashtag hot block. But actually that leads me to another point I had. How do you think it's gonna be for them? Like, clearly they're gonna be some sort of couple now, but they mention that she should stay hidden for at least a year, and then Hop fought to get her the one night, which was the dance. So
yeah, but after that year, though, it looks like she's gonna be a normal kid.
Yes,
which should be interesting.
Yes, but she's gonna have to go a year without seeing Mike unless Hop lets Mike go over there.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting too, because Hop still seems to have that protective dad thing going.
Oh,
too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's basically like his new Sarah, his daughter.
Yeah. That might actually be pretty interesting in season 3.
I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be funny. I picture Mike holding her hand and Hop just fucking death stares him until he lets go. It's gonna be great.
That will be
really excited
phenomenal.
for Dad Hopper. I'm really looking forward to that. I loved his little trying to make her feel bad when he's like sitting there. He's like, I'm gonna eat all this candy by myself. I'm gonna get fat.
I'm gonna get
If
fat.
you don't come out here. So funny. They're so good together.
They are. It's like a heartwarming pair, even though for like the first half of the season they were at each other's throats.
Well, that's what I really like about him too. Is like Hop is this big physical presence, but 11 has the psychic powers. So it's like a really big brute strength kind of physical power versus mind power. It's interesting.
That is
11 will win every
yin
time.
And yang,
But
you know. Yeah. But I don't think Hopper would let her know that.
No,
or admit
absolutely
it to her.
not. But oh my god, that just reminded me during their little battle when she was like screaming and they blew out the windows. I was like, "Fuck yes, dude!" Because it makes it seem like her powers are getting stronger and potentially.
Oh, they
new
absolutely
powers.
are. She is
She started
absolutely getting
levitating.
stronger. She did. She did levitate at the end. That was definitely something new. Yeah. Which
So
they had that moment of showing her how to channel her rage and stuff. Which
yes,
helped.
that's actually what I was gonna say. That leads us right into talking about episode 7.
Okay, before we start on that topic,
Hot takes.
how did you feel about episode 7?
Me?
Yes.
I understand why they had it.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't there. I think the
Yep.
season would have been just fine without it. But at the same time, I want to know more about the other experiments. Or the other kids
Same.
experimented on. So, like, it's
Same.
a step in the right path, but I think it's a wrong step. It's like
Yeah,
it's like a step forward, but like at an angle.
at an angle.
Yeah, it's like you meant
That's-
to step 2 feet forward, or you meant to step like take a step 6 inches forward, and you stepped like 6 inches diagonally right. So it's like it's still kind of going forward, but you're straying a bit.
Yeah. It's a better way to put it than what I was going to say. It's just, like you said, I liked the development, and it raised more questions for me as far as the experiments, but just felt unnecessary as an
It was
episode.
very
It felt like it
unnecessary.
took away from the main story.
The only
And-
real driving point for the main story is that 11 starts using anger to add more strength to her powers. That's really the only purpose of episode 7.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they're going to use 8 in the future. You know, her sister. I don't remember if
Yeah.
they said any other name for her. I just remember.
It's
8, so-
it's Callie, I think it was Callie.
That sounds about right. I'm terrible with names, so.
Yeah, I want to say it was Callie, but I think she will show up because at the end, like, it was really clear when she was looking in her reflection as Elle left that she was thinking like, I fucked up. I should have went that route.
Yeah.
That's
Thoughts
what
about
it
her
looked
life
like to
choices
me.
at that point.
Yeah, so I think
What did you think of,
we'll see her, maybe a battle between them.
I'm wondering if it's going to be a battle or if she's going to help take down the Mind Flayer for good or something like that. Like somehow they combine their powers, which
It'll probably be a
fighting
team
the things. Yeah, fighting the things from the Upside Down. I don't know if I see that her powers would honestly be that useful though.
up.
I
I don't know. We don't know much about them, which I do love that they keep stuff vague. I want a little more on those monsters, but I also like having the vagueness because it makes them more intimidating to me. It's
very
like
true.
you don't know what to expect.
And I love the fact that the Mind Flayer it's smarter. Like, it's actually scheming and plotting and has a grander scale of a plan than just attack, you know? I love that.
Yeah. But
all this aside, though, how did you feel about Eleven's makeover?
I mean, I liked it. It showed she had a rebellious stage, which all kids go through, and she looked kind of badass. She kind of looked like the girl from bitchin'. She looked like the girl from Breakfast Club, the little outcast girl.
Yeah, she kind of did.
Just with hair slicked back. But I don't know. With episode 7, the thing that gets me the most is it was so different from the show in general, which
it almost felt like a completely different show.
Yeah, which I'm sure that's what they were going for. They were probably trying to stretch what they can do, but I don't know. It slowed everything down. Like I said, the whole season is build up to the last 2 episodes, and this one just like takes all that build up and just smashes the parking brake on it, and you just have to sit and watch that for like an hour. That's one of the longer episodes, I think. It might be 55 minutes.
It was a longer one. At least it felt longer to me, because I was kind of like, all right, I want to see what's happening.
It certainly felt longer.
Because the episode before, it was such a big episode. Like, the demi-dogs broke out, and, you know, shit got crazy. And then it's this. It was just like, what? No!
You get, like... does it leave you with them in the cabin, or is that in episode 7 as well?
No, the episode beforehand left with Hopper being down near the portal and the demi-dogs breaking out.
Oh, okay,
shit going haywire.
Yeah. Okay, so they were in the cabin then still, right? Because Hop got there before she did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But anyways, it's like it's around the same time. But it just that shows even more that it hits the brakes, because like at the end of the fucking episode, when she decides to go home, she's seeing Hop freak out over the fact that it's a trap.
Yeah. I just didn't approve of it, man. I didn't approve of episode 7.
Yeah.
I can understand what they were trying to accomplish, but I think they went about it the wrong way.
Yeah. In a different show, I would probably like that episode. In Stranger Things,
but
I
not
don't like
in Stranger Things.
It doesn't.
Agreed.
Well, okay. I can watch it. I can tolerate it. I don't like hate the episode. It's just it brings everything to a halt. It's not that much story-wise. Actually, there is a second part that's a big thing, which could be a lie. We don't know. But when the guy says Dr. Brenner survived, Papa.
Yeah, they never. That bothered me. They
else.
never really. Yeah, they never really went with that at all.
Which that's definitely going to be in next season.
Yeah.
Has to be. But yeah, that's like the only 2 points that are of any merit for the actual story in that entire episode. And it sucks because the season opened with them with
which
Callie
threw me
and
off.
Friends.
It kind of did throw me off. I was like, who are these people?
It threw me off, but then when they showed that the guy just crashed the cop car because he thought the overpass exploded and it didn't, I was like, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to finding out about this girl. And then the episode came and I was like, this is not what I was hoping for at all.
No, same. I didn't know they were going to go the sister route. I thought it was going to be like, oh,
well, I mean, they're not like actual sisters.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They call each other sister. They were raised in the same lab.
By the same papa. You are like Papa.
Yeah.
I like the way she says
that's an
Papa.
Insult.
Yeah.
Papa.
But yeah, I don't know. I could do without episode 7.
I could
wish
too.
it wasn't there.
All in all, though, even with the fucking downfalls, the small downfalls, which the biggest is probably episode 7.
Yes.
It was just a fucking great show from start to finish. It's been a while, probably since season 1, since I've binge watched a show that fast. Just couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And I finished it and felt empty inside because I didn't have more Stranger Things to watch.
Well, that's why I went to the behind the scenes one. Like, I watched the whole thing like this past Sunday. I watched all 9 episodes in one day. Just tore through it. I couldn't get enough. I really love that show. And I was seeing there's a lot of people talking about it being overhyped, which I get because it is a really good show. But there are some people that elevate it to a level that it doesn't really belong at. Like, personally, it's not necessarily in the tier of, say, like a Breaking Bad or like The Wire, like truly great shows. But it is a very good show, and I love it.
I disagree. I'm on the side of it's one of the best shows I've ever watched.
Really?
Because, yeah, but this is coming from... I'm not a big cinephile or anything like that. Like, I don't watch much TV. I don't watch many movies. I play video games in my spare time. You know, it's either that or I watch stuff on YouTube. That's just what I do. Been that way for quite a while. Something has to be very good to really pull me in and make me want to see it. So, Stranger Things is one of those things for me.
Well, going back to the your word of the day, pastiche, I think is part of why it's such a big one for you, because it's like, I mean, we're 90s kids, but we saw all those really famous 80s movies, fucking Goonies, Aliens.
Oh, absolutely.
I know I've seen Stand By Me. I don't know if you have or not, but
oh yeah, of course.
it's like, and It and Halloween and everything that they take from. But it's all those classic 80s movies that they take from, and they basically kind of copy those but make something completely new out of it. And it's just so interesting, and it's nice to have like a young group of kids with that sense of adventure. It's something that's just not been around since those 80s movies.
That's very true. You don't get movies nowadays of just a group of kids that are so likable that just set out on like an awesome little fucking personal, well, I wouldn't say personal, just a fucking journey to save the world. And
There's not much. I'm sure there's some that maybe are lesser known, but
probably.
I mean,
sure someone's fucking cussing us out right now. Like, you didn't see fucking Toddler Adventure 5? Like, some shit like that.
Air Buddies 10.
But oh god, that's a discussion for a different day.
There was a movie that is close to those types that I saw that was pretty good. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it right now. It's like 3 kids that like go live out in a fort they build in the woods, and like I remember the trailer distinctly because it had them like banging on this giant pipe that they saw in the woods, and the one really weird kid in the group started doing some really hilarious chant and dancing on the pipe. And that was pretty good, and that's about as close as I've seen recently to movies like The Goonies and Stand By Me and stuff like that.
Pipe.
yeah.
Don't Google that.
Movie,
you
though.
might end up in some hot water.
Oh god. One more thing that I wanted to touch on that I almost forgot about. Mama. I want to know if she is going to stay crazy or if at some point they're going to bring her out of that somehow.
I don't know. I kind of feel like if she does, it'll have to be from 11 doing something psychic, like doing her little
some kind
spirit
of new
walk
power
thing,
or something.
Some way to help her out because her brain is like fried right now, I do like that she did have enough cognitive thought to be like, I need to show you this. I need to show you what happened. This is important.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Which that confused me a little bit because it's like the words she was repeating, she kept repeating them presumably because right before she got shocked, she just thought that those were the most important things to remember, I guess. That's kind of what it came across as to me.
It was kind of the steps on what she had to do to get Jane back,
yes, Yes. But then with the whole lights leading her over to leading 11 or Jane over to her, it makes it seem like she somehow got some kind of power too. Either she got some kind of power or like some real
or she's stuck in the upside
her.
down.
Yeah. Like a alternate version of her is stuck in the upside down. So
yeah, because that's like a
that.
callback. It's like a callback to the Christmas lights in the first season,
Yeah, how Will spoke to his mom.
Yeah, and I mean, there just has to be something more to it. Like, she has to have some kind of power, which I guess if you're kind of trapped in your own fucking mind the way she is, if that's a way to unlock some kind of psychic power, I mean, that's how you're going to do it.
There's got to be something. Because she even knew that 11 needed static to go into that little void area.
Yeah, she, like, changed the TV.
Yeah, she like called her over to her and then changed the TV to static, and 11 obviously picked up like, oh, she wants to talk to me. How would she have done that first and foremost? And how would she know that 11 needs static to do so? She has to have some kind of psychic power going on that she got somehow, which makes me think that eventually she's going to come out of that little stuck loop.
Yeah, which it bothered me that even after she guided Elle into that, to the static and so all that, so she could talk with her or show her things. When Elle goes into the spirit world or whatever you want to call it, upside down, to talk with her,
it's like the void.
She's still just repeating things. It's like so she's still repeating this, but she did have enough thought to like lead her there, and I just. That part was a bit confusing.
That's one of those where it's like that attention to detail kind of slipped up a bit. But I mean, that'll happen with when you get a team of writers. Like shit like that's gonna happen. People forget stuff, or someone says something and everyone's like, oh, that's a great idea, and they run with it, and they don't necessarily think about like, oh, well, what does this mean for Mama? Does she have a power? If so, how are we going to show that she got that power? It's more of just like, we need them to talk. How do we do that?
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to the whole thing of like writing a show. You can't expect them to remember every little detail. I'm sure there's fans that remember way more details than they probably do. I mean,
maybe,
unless...
but I know after season 1, I remember seeing something where the Duffer Brothers said in an interview they had a huge book that had just all sorts of ideas and ways they could go with the show, and like monsters and the Upside Down and the background of it, the Upside Down and everyone and all that shit. They had all that written down and planned out, and I can't really excuse them forgetting stuff when there's only been one season of 8 episodes. You should be able to keep up with that.
True. That's very true. That's still like 8 hours of content, which there are shows that have ran with more. And yeah, I don't know. I give them a pass on some of the smaller things.
I mean, I give it a pass because I like the show, but
yeah, the mama thing still could have been thought out better. Episode 7 could have been thought out better.
Episode 7 could have been scrapped.
True. Those few things I don't really pass them for. Like, that should have just look at the quality of everything else you're doing and take a step back, but
yeah.
Every other little bitty mistake, I'm sure there's more that we didn't touch on that someone else probably noticed, but I didn't notice them, so obviously they get a pass from me.
Yeah. I just hope they do something with Mama next season to showcase her obvious abilities that she has. I mean, there's no way she could have done that without abilities.
I hope that's not the end of Mama's story, like
I hope so too, but more. It feels like it is.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of feels like they're like, all right, she served her purpose, so not showing her again.
Yeah, and now 11's gonna be Hop's daughter, so it just feels like, and she's met her mom, which was a big thing for her. Like, she's already done that.
Yeah,
she's
and
learned what she needed to learn from her. It seems like that's
she's
it.
Pretty much
we're
moved
not gonna,
on.
Yeah, and we're not gonna see how she was able to communicate with her in that way, which sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Side note, how much of a bitch is Mama's sister though? The one that was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call these people and tell them this kid's here anyways. Like, that just felt shitty to me.
Well,
she was like, oh, you can stay here, and then she's like, yo, come get this kid.
Was she telling him to come get her?
Pretty much. She was like, yeah, she's here, and I don't know what to do with her, or something like that. I didn't know what else to do but call you guys. It's just like, oh, you cunt.
But at least in her defense, I think she was calling, like, child services. I don't think she was calling, like, the people that stole her.
Yeah, true.
Also, is that her sister? I don't think they ever said who she is.
I think they said it was her sister, but I could be wrong.
She never refers to 11 as her niece.
No, but I don't know. I want to say that's something from the first season, but
maybe.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. I just, for some reason, when I think of her as Mama's sister. So, I don't know. Could be right, could be wrong.
There was some sort of dialogue in this season that made me think she was an older daughter.
I don't know.
I forget what it was.
She could be. She did look younger than Mama.
Oh, definitely.
But
a lot younger.
She's got to be younger. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up now. And figure that one out for myself. That's gonna bother me.
I'm probably gonna run into it rewatching season 1.
Yeah, I haven't started doing that yet. I do want to go back and rewatch season 1 now.
Yes.
Just love the show.
It was
such a good show.
It was very good. So I guess we'll wrap this up with any overall thoughts you have on the show, or final thoughts and a little rating.
Final thoughts, really. I guess we kind of covered it all. It's a great show. We've been kind of negative for the past, I don't know, 20 minutes or so talking about it.
You gotta do both.
Even with, true. Even with the downsides, though, I absolutely love the show. For me, it's one of my favorites. I look forward to seeing season 3, and I'm probably going to end up rewatching both first and second season of it. So rating-wise for me, just with the little downfalls, like, episode 7 and stuff, I would give it a fair, like, I want to give it a 9 out of 10, but just for fairness sakes, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. Nice.
Yeah, I feel like 9 would be pushing it up there a little too high, so we'll drop it a half.
Yeah. It's definitely one of my favorite shows too. Like I said earlier, there's stuff that I think is just light years ahead of it, but that's just nitpicking wannabe filmmaker stuff. It's a fantastic show. Loved it. I still think this season was better than season 1, despite episode 7 trying to make it not the case. Did I say 1? I meant 7, if I said 1. I like heard that back after, and I thought I said 1. But yeah, I'm also very looking forward to season 3. I saw it may come in 2019, which sucks.
That sucks. It's not going to be next year?
Oh,
that hurts me
potentially
inside.
Not next year. Yeah, and that means we'll have a year without both Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, which is not good.
Which I guess gives me a year to actually start watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, to catch
I'm gonna
up
get
on
mauled on the internet for that comment, but
but yeah, phenomenal show. Rewatching season 1 now, definitely going straight into 2 after that. Might do that this weekend. Might just burn through season 1, at least get a couple episodes into season 2.
I might join you on that, actually. That sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a great idea. But I'm gonna give it, what should I give it? We're gonna say 3 little baby darts out of 4.5 baby darts.
That's such
like the back half of him.
I like how I gave it a numeric value and you were just like oh man.
I mean, I kind of took that off of like Funhouse's style, but it always makes me laugh, so I thought I'd jump into it as well.
Nothing wrong with the inspiration, unless it gets you a cease and desist.
Yeah. I think we're good on a rating scale.
Oh man.
But with
right,
that, that's going to be our first review of any kind. I definitely want to do more of them because I'm a huge cinephile. Love me some TV, love me some movies.
And this will force me to expand my horizons since I don't watch much. I'll be forced to now, so
yes.
we can talk about them.
Yes.
Let us know
if anyone's watched this and you've seen Baby Driver, please hammer Kyle in the comments for not watching Baby Driver. I've given him a free digital copy and he still hasn't watched it.
I plan to do so very soon.
He said that every single day for 2 weeks.
As of now, recording this is Thursday, so tomorrow is Friday. I will watch it this weekend. I promise.
He won't.
Promise.
He won't.
I would pinky promise you if we were in the same room.
He won't. All right, that's gonna do it for Stranger Things 2, which we didn't get to, but I love that they're basically treating them like they're just long ass movies. They kind of play out that way. So that's gonna be it. We'll hopefully do another one of these soon. Hopefully some other show comes out. Oh, we could actually maybe do it for Mindhunter.
Oh, we could. I've been interested in watching that one actually.
Yeah, so be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for potentially a Mindhunter review.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.